What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a re-upload due to having some errors in this morning's upload. So if you've already seen the first video, this is the same video. Just want to go ahead and throw that out there. But if you guys are looking for a teaser, 4 prize picks plays, and a couple of parlay play slips, then make sure you guys stick around to the end, and I'll see y'all in just a second. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are back with some Thursday night NFL. We have the Steelers taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. But before we jump into these plays, guys, I do want to pick a winner from yesterday's video to win a free month of VIP. So I do this in every video. If this video gets 250 likes, I will randomly select one comment down below to win a free month of our VIP, which is a $25 value. So if you guys do want to get a chance at free VIP, make sure you guys drop a comment, leave a like on the video. You do have to be a subscriber to win, so make sure you guys are subscribed. And let's go ahead and pick our winner from yesterday. Winner is going to be for D-Man 805, who said algorithm food with the bacon, the eggs, and the cheese. Well, D-Man, I appreciate the support, my man. I appreciate you boosting the algorithm. You just won yourself a free month of VIP. Send me a message on Discord. It's Ryan Fantasy Aces, and I'll get you added for that free month, dude. I really do appreciate it, and I really appreciate the love and support from every single one of you guys. Looking at our free picks yesterday, we ended up 3-1 on the free picks, guys. Minicucci cashed us. Cam Cook cashed us. Cam Cook at first was sweaty, and then he had a 66-yard breakaway for a touchdown, ended up with 3 TDs, so he cashed our TD prop as well. So this was a little $50, 30% profit boost that we played yesterday on Underdog that cashed. I gave us for free. Unfortunately, our NBA preseason slip did chalk. So we had Cooper Flagg, and then we had Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller cashed his PRA pretty easy. He was way overpacing the first half. That one was pretty free. Cooper Flagg, even with almost 30 minutes playing time on a nationally televised game versus the Lakers, I just really thought he was going to pop off. He didn't. So, he ended up chalking us by like 2, I think. I think on parlay play we had him at 19.5, and then on Prizepicks we had him at 22. So he missed by like 4, and then by like 2 on parlay play. So unfortunate on that. We did end up cashing 3 of the 4 props overall. So if you guys got to tell the other 3, maybe you paired them differently than me, then you guys could have cashed out. If you guys do want to join our Discord, like I said, Discord is free to join. We'd love to have you guys in there. You guys can join through our WAP or through the link down in the description. I am giving free NFL, and there will soon be some NBA plays given away for free that are Discord exclusive. So all that's going to be in the Discord. Join us if you're not in there already. If you guys do want to get all of the plays that I post, every single platform, make sure you guys join our VIP. Links down in the description as well. There's our regular VIP, and then we have the new Elite VIP, which is going to be more of like a mentorship for the ones who have been with us for a while and just want to pay a little bit extra to get a little bit more premium access to us. Then this option is going to be there, but majority of people are probably going to go with the cheaper option, and I don't blame you. It's still going to be the same amount of picks. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and talk about these games. And let's talk about this game, not these games, but this game, and let's take a look at it. So looking at public betting on this line that we've already went over, you got 57% of the money on the Bengals winning, and the majority of this is going to be because they're playing at home. They looked pretty decent last week compared to the last few games, and then they're plus 233 underdogs, so you get a little bit of good value on this, especially if you play it on, looks like Kashi right here is doing that. If you look at the spread, you got 53% of the money on Cincinnati covering the spread, and then you got 53% of the money on the total going over 44.5. I had this total kind of sitting around 41, 42 projected through the model that I've built. Now, the model that I built, I used a couple years ago. I haven't been using it a whole lot. I've kind of updated it a little bit, so if it starts projecting accurately, I'll maybe give that away in the Discord for free as well. We'll see. But for now, we're just going to play around with it. It's got it between 40 and 42 right now. So we'll see what the total ends up being at on this game. Let's take a look at these teams so far this season. So far this season, the Steelers are sitting at 4 wins and 1 loss. Their only loss being to the Seahawks in Week 2. Coming off a win versus the Browns. They beat the Minnesota the game before that, and they beat the Patriots the game before that. So the Steelers actually looking pretty strong this season. On the other side of things, we got the Bengals looking pretty dang weak. They won their first 2 games versus Jacksonville and then versus Cleveland. And then if you look at the next 4, they're 0-4 in their last 4 games. Losing to Green Bay, Detroit, Denver, and then the Vikings. So they actually had 3 tough games. I'm not a Vikings hater, but, I mean, they got beat 48-10 to the Vikings, so I can't say anything about that. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But these 3 teams pretty dang strong teams that they lost to, so you can't really count them out too much on these. But if you look at like their loss to the Broncos, 28-3, it was a blowout loss. 37-24, they could put up some numbers on Detroit, but they couldn't stop anything. And then the same thing versus Green Bay, they put up 18 points, but they just couldn't stop anything. So it ended up being a pretty high scoring game where they ended up losing that as well. So Bengals right now struggling. I'm not going to lie. If we look offensively and defensively on these two teams, if you look at Pittsburgh's offense, Pittsburgh is averaging 278 yards per game on offense, 84 of these being rushing yards, and 194 of these being passing yards. If you look at the Bengals defense, they're giving up 136 rush yards per game and then 260 passing yards per game, the 31st ranked defense in passing yards allowed. So one of the worst passing defense and one of the worst defenses in general for the Bengals right now, going against an offense that pretty bad offensively in both rushing and passing based off of yards per game. So Pittsburgh been struggling a little bit. Do I think they're going to struggle to move the ball this game? Not really. If we come down here and look at points allowed per game, Pittsburgh is getting 24 points per game on offense, and then the Bengals are giving up 30.5. One of the, like I said, worst defenses in the league, giving up a ton of points. So looking at the other side of things, Cincinnati's offense getting 235 yards per game on offense, with 56 of these being rush yards, which is horrendous, and 178 being pass yards. So one of the worst offenses, again, going against an okay defense. If you look at the Steelers, they are giving up 356.6 yards per game on defense, but 110 of those are rush yards and then 245 pass yards. So they're giving up a lot more pass yards than they are rush yards in terms of ranking and defenses. So giving up a lot of pass yards. Flacco might have some success here. I think this could be a game where both quarterbacks could succeed or could excel. And we'll talk about some player props here in a minute. But for this game, what I want to do is I want to give you my thoughts, and I'm going to give you a teaser. So up on the screen, you're going to see what I'm running. And this is going to be a ladder challenge, guys. So we are going to do a live ladder challenge. The first one is going to be on YouTube. The next couple are going to be on TikTok and Instagram only. So go follow the socials if you're not on there as well, or on there, because I'm going to be probably doing this for Saturday and Sunday will be the next two ladder challenge days. So we're going to start with $100. We're going to see what we can turn it into. This is going to be a teaser ladder challenge. So the first teaser today that we have is going to be the Bengals plus 12.5. I'm playing a 7-point teaser. So the Bengals are getting 7 more points. So you take that 5.5, it goes to 12.5. They can lose by almost 2 touchdowns. They can lose by a TD and a field goal and still cash this out pretty comfortably. If you look at the total, I decided to go with the over on the total just because my model had it projected over. And I do think the offenses on these games can have some success because the defenses have struggled a little bit. So specifically, I can see the Steelers scoring 3 TDs and then the Bengals scoring 2, or 2 or 3. So I've got it projected 40-42. 37 is a little bit lower. You could argue taking the under on this at 51.5, which I don't dislike, and I almost took that instead, but I want to root for the over, and this is the main thing, is I have a lot of player props I'm taking overs on today. I don't have a whole lot of unders, so including PATs for one of these kickers. So rooting for a team to score and then rooting for the under on the game is hard for me to want to do. So I'd rather just be able to root for this to be a high-scoring game and be a shootout and just enjoy the game itself rather than sit here and have to sweat like, don't score, don't score. So that's one reason. It's for my mental as well. I think this could fall anywhere between 37 and 51, so I think the over or the under could cash on this teaser. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. I took the 37.5 over, and that's the teaser that I'm going to run. So before we jump into our player props, guys, I'm going to be locking in these player props on Prizepicks and on Parlay Play for today. We're going to look at player props, but I do want to say, if you guys want a free month of VIP, you can sign up with any of our partnered apps down in the description. You got Chalkboard, Sleeper, Underdog, Parlay Play, Better, Novig, or Dabble. Any of those 7 apps will get you a free month of our VIP. You can get up to 7 full months for free. It means you guys can have over half a year for free just by signing up to apps, and all these apps will give you a deposit match. Right now, Chalkboard is giving you a $100 deposit match with a free square when you sign up using code FANTASYACES. If you sign up there, I'm going to be dropping a lot of Chalkboard plays today. It's going to be one of the new apps I'm focusing on right now because I haven't played a whole lot on Chalkboard lately, and I really want to get back into it because the platform is good. Parlay Play is another one. Deposit $10 on Parlay Play. You can get a deposit match up to $100, and you guys can get a free month of our VIP by doing that. So just want to throw it out there. That option is there if you guys want to try free VIP. And let's jump into some of these picks. So the first pick that I want to lock in today is going to be from the Steelers side of things. We are going to be taking our man DK Metcalf. So I'm going to be taking Metcalf. And I read the comments. A lot of you guys aren't liking the punt plays, and a lot of you guys aren't liking fantasy score plays. Now, I'm going to give one fantasy score play, and it's going to be from Metcalf, and the rest are going to be not punt or fantasy score, just because That comment got like 10 likes, maybe more than that, maybe less. I'm not exactly sure what the number was. It was 7 the last time I checked, and I'm pretty sure that was early in the day. So it's probably got more, but I do want to say that, like, I know a lot of sports books don't offer like fantasy, so I mean, I'm gonna try to keep it away from that in case you guys do want to try to straight bet some things. But I am locking Metcalf over fantasy on Prizepicks. Now, I don't usually take receivers. Metcalf's line is sitting at 13 right now. We're going to be locking in the over on Prizepicks. He's cashed this line in 2 straight games. He cashed it in 2 of his 5 on the season. He has hooked this number in 2 games. He had 12.3 versus the Jets. Then he had 12.2 versus New England. Now, we've talked about this Bengals defense being horrendous, one of the worst passing defenses in the league, and he's going against a team that throws the ball a lot. I think the Steelers have like a 60% pass versus run rate, 57%, something like that. We'll look at it here in just a second. But they do throw the ball a lot more than they run the ball, and you got Aaron Rodgers behind at quarterback. Like, receiving yards and passing yards is something that we can definitely look forward to in this game. Now, looking at fantasy score, for every 10 receiving yards, he gets 1 point. A touchdown is 4 points. It might be 6 points. I'll look here in just a second for receivers. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then reception is going to be 1. So if we look at how many targets he's getting per game, that's going to be something huge that we want to look at. So looking at targets per game on average, he is averaging 6.2 targets per game, and he's averaging 4 receptions per game. So 4 receptions, 4 fantasy. That brings us down to 9. If he's getting 6 targets, there's a chance that he gets more. He had 9 targets his last game versus the Browns. In a game like this that could end up being a shootout, like I'm hoping it's a shootout, then we could maybe expect Metcalf to get 8 or 9 once again in this game because he should have a good game. Looking at receiving yards, he's averaging 70 receiving yards per game. If you look at that and you average that out, if he gets 7.1 fantasy from receiving yards on average, then you throw that in with a TD, he automatically cashes right there. You throw that in with 4 receptions, and he's almost cashed right there by himself. So one huge game like he did versus Minnesota, and he's going to cash fantasy really, really easy. If you look at Cincinnati's receiving yards defense, they're giving up 270 receiving yards per game, which is the 30th ranked defense, which is terrible. Then versus wide receivers, they're giving up 157 receiving yards per game. So you got to look at that. I think Metcalf has a great game, and I'm going to be locking him in on this one. So that's going to be my first pick of the day, DK Metcalf over 13 fantasy score, which you can get on Prizepicks. If you want to lock it in on Sleeper or Underdog, you can do that as well. But let me pull this up really quick. Fantasy score. Where are we at? Metcalf at 13, and it is on Prizepicks still. We should be able to get this on parlay play and actually have Metcalf's 62.5 receiving yards boosted, which maybe that's a good play. I'll probably end up sprinkling a little bit on that. But we're going to lock in his fantasy first, and we got right here. So fantasy scoring chart, you get every 10 receiving yards is going to be 1 point, a reception's 1, and a receiving touchdown 6. It's not 4 for receivers, okay? So for running backs, it's going to be 4, but or for passing TDs, it's 4, right? Either way, your boy's losing his mind right now. Everything's showing right here. Obviously, if he fumbles, he loses 2. I'm hoping he doesn't fumble this game. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see what happens on this overall. So Metcalf is pick number 1. Jumping into the second play of the day, the one that I'm thinking about pairing with Metcalf. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do on these 2 plays for the video just yet, but I'm taking our man Chase Brown. Now, I know I told you I think both quarterbacks could end up having a good game. Something deep down is telling me that Chase Brown is going to have a good game today. I don't know what it is. The Steelers' rush defense is kind of middle of the pack. Let's take a look at our man Chase Brown. So, rush attempts this season. He is averaging 12.3 rush attempts, getting a decent amount of carries, but this rush attempt could be a lot higher if they weren't getting smoked every single game. So when you're down this game, you're down every single game, it's hard for you to run the ball at all. Now, if you look at him in the first 2 games, he had 21 rush attempts versus Cleveland and then 16 versus Jacksonville. So if they're putting up numbers, he's going to get carries. If they're able to keep the game close, he's going to get carries. They are passing the ball 67% of the time, running the ball 33% of the time. This is definitely a pass-first offense. Obviously, it's ran around Joe Burrow. That's what they're leaning towards when they want to have a good season. So, obviously, they're going to throw the ball more. Now, Chase Brown is getting 70% of the rush air, 74 rush attempts this game or this season so far. I'm expecting something's just telling me he's going to have a good game. I'm trusting my gut on this one. If you look at his rush yards, you can get his rush yards at 44.5, I believe is what it is. Let's take a look at it. So, actually, 39.5, is that what it is? Let's take a look here on Prizepicks real quick. So, 44.5 on Chase Brown. You can rock these in for a 3X, or you can do something a little bit more safe, which I decided to do. So what I ended up doing is I ended up taking Chase Brown rush and receiving yards. So we're going to take him over here, rush and receiving yards, and I'm going to buy this to 50. So he can also, you're increasing the line by 6, but you're also getting the potential for him to make one completion to cash more than 5 or 6 yards, which is definitely doable. And this is still a 2.25x. So 150 on this slip is going to win you $337, which is pretty nice to see. So if we were to take this over here on parlay play, let's take Chase Brown. Take a look if they have rush and receiving yards, and they do. This is going to be a 2.28x, so you actually get better value on parlay play than you do on Prizepicks. That's a pretty decent slip to me. Chase Brown, if you take a look at his receptions per game, it's not like he's getting a ton, but if you look at receptions in one game, he has 7 versus Detroit. He's averaging 4 targets per game, at least 2 in every single game this season so far, and he's caught at least 2 passes in every single game this season so far. Head-to-head last season, he had 3 versus the Steelers, and if you look at receiving yards, not receiving touchdown. Where are we at? Receiving yards. He had 30 his last game, and he's averaging 17 on the season. So they're definitely getting some value by getting him at 49.5. Obviously, Pittsburgh's receiving yards defense is horrible. They have one of the worst in the league, second to worst. They give up 270 receiving yards per game. Go to running backs. They give up almost 40 receiving yards of running backs per game. And I could see Chase Brown definitely getting some receptions this game and cashing us out. He could possibly almost cash us on just receiving yards allowed by itself. So Chase Brown is what I'm going to run as my second pick. If you want to play his original line, it's like 65.5. I don't hate this line. I do not dislike this line. I may sprinkle some on this as well, just to have some extra play since this is a one-game slate. It's hard to find some. But Chase Brown is someone I'm expecting to have a good game tonight. Something just telling me he is, and I'm going to trust my gut on this one, and I'm going to take Chase Brown as well. So that could be a potential slip. We'll look at our next 2 options, and then we'll pair them accordingly. But that's what we got as our first 2 picks of the day. Jumping into play number 3. So like I told you guys, I had a kicker taking him for 1.5 PATs. Who did I end up taking? I'm taking our man Chris Boswell. So I'm taking Boswell, the Pittsburgh Steelers kicker. I think he could kick 2 field goals, or I think he could kick 2 PATs, potentially both. So I like Boswell over 1.5 extra points made. He's cashed it in every single game this season except for one. That was versus the Seahawks, and they're only lost this game so far. He's had 3 or 2 in pretty much every other game this season. So he has been getting a lot. If you look at the Bengals' extra points defense, they're giving up more TDs than any other team in the league, giving up almost 4 touchdowns per game or 4 extra points per game. It's a good matchup. I expect the Steelers to be able to move the ball pretty easy, whether it's on the ground or through the air, and I expect them to kick two extra points. So I think they score two TDs here. Extra point or PAT made right here. On Prizepicks, you got Chris Boswell, and that is right here, which would give us a 2.5x, which that payout did not go up much. What is 2.5 PATs? 3.75? That could be a potential demon play to take. I could see the Steelers scoring 3 TDs versus this Bengals defense. I'm not going to lie. I might sprinkle something there too. We'll see. But Boswell to 1.5 PATs, I think is safe, and you can play with any regular line for at least a double up. So what is our last play of the day? Last pick of the day that I did for player props is going to be either one of the quarterbacks. So I'm going to let you guys make a decision here. You can come over here to pass yards. We got Flacco and we've got Aaron Rodgers. I can see both of these quarterbacks having a good game. Now, if you buy them down, my favorite play if you buy them down is going to be Flacco at 189.5. I think they're going to be able to move the ball through the air. Like I said, I think Chase Brown getting a couple of receptions obviously is going to be passing yards for Flacco. And I think he cashes 189. Now, Flacco has bit me in the butt twice this season so far. So this is a quarterback I don't trust fully. I took him versus Baltimore and then versus Green Bay to pass the ball, and he chopped me both times. I told myself I'm not going to take Flacco anymore, but I think this game's a little bit of a different story. I think he could definitely cash us out here. So this right here, if you played all these together, is a 3X. I don't recommend doing that just because I don't like that. You could take Aaron Rodgers at 218. I think that's another good play. You could play that. Well, you can't play him with Boswell is the problem here because it's the same team. But Aaron Rodgers at 218.5 passing yards, I can see him cashing that as well. Or if you wanted to buy it to 199.5, I can see that cashing as well. If we pull up Aaron Rodgers, I'm doing this so you guys can see the pass versus rush rate for our Metcalf play. So pass yards at 199.5. He's cashed it every single game this season except for one. He's had 200 and 203 in 2 of those games. Obviously, they're going against one of the worst passing defenses in the league, giving up 260 passing yards per game. Come down here, they do pass the ball 55% of the time, run the ball 45% of the time. So they are throwing the ball most. Metcalf is their number 1 wide receiver. He has 23.3% of the target share. If you go to red zone targets, he gets 21.4% of the red zone targets. So that's one reason I like Metcalf as well. I've just forgot to mention that earlier. That being said, Aaron Rodgers at 218.5 is going to be a little bit more sweaty. He hasn't been throwing for 220 much, but this is Aaron Rodgers, man. He could definitely air it out for 250 if need be. Looking at him last season, he was averaging 230 passing yards per game. He had a few games where he was right at 300, obviously. Playing for a different team, playing for the Jets back then, so they're running the ball a little bit more right now. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, Aaron Rodgers at 218 is okay in my opinion. I don't know what I'm going to run. I do know I'm probably going to lock this in as a slip, so we're going to put 250 on this, and then we'll pick another slip that we'll walk in live on Parlay Play just to see what we have. So let's take a look at their promos. Got Ohtani for a hit. I'm going to stay away from baseball. I'm just going to look at the NFL play. So pretty much what they have is Jamar Chase at 55.5 receiving yards, which I think that's decent. Well, we got Metcalf at 62.5 receiving yards. I'm going to stay away from Metcalf. Can we do Boswell? Does Boswell have a 1.5 extra point made? He has 3.5 kicking points, 6 kicking points, 7.5 kicking points, which is pretty high. I can't take Boswell for PATs, unfortunately. We can take Flacco at 189. If we pair him with Rodgers at 199, this puts us at a 1.6x, and then we could run something else with it as well. If you ran that with Metcalf, that would give you a 3x, but I don't know that I want to run that Metcalf in both slips for the free pick, so I probably will fade that. I'm going to play Metcalf at some point. Could run something different with Chase Brown. If we took Chase Brown, 40 rush yards. They have receptions on here, 1.5 receptions. Is 1.5 receptions a good play for payout? 1.75x? No, that's a horrible payout. And we're looking at these live. I'm just trying to find a second slip since I can't play Boswell, so it's kind of putting a hindrance on things and locking in these slips live. We took his rushing receiving yards already in slip number 1, didn't we? I think that's a lock, dude. I mean, not a lock, but I wouldn't mind playing that one twice. That one really doesn't worry me that much. I say that, and he'll be the one that chalks me. What's the payout? 1.28x. The rush yards, if we do 29.5 rush yards, just 30 rush yards, that would give us a 1.95. Let's do that. We're going to mix it up. I don't want to play the exact 49.5 again. If he doesn't get 20 receiving yards, then the value's better on this rush yard play. So we're going to play this. I know we got Chase Brown twice. If you don't want to play him, you ain't got to, but or you don't have to. But this is what I have. So I got Metcalf and Chase Brown rushing receiving yards locked in. Then we got Rodgers and Flacco, just because I said I like both quarterbacks, definitely discounted. They could get slightly sweaty, but I do think this is going to be one of those air raid matchups. Obviously, they're both going to run the ball some, and that's why I like Chase Brown. But I do think this is going to be a strong pass game for both teams. And if you look at Chase Brown, 30 rush yards really isn't that many, and I think he cashes this out. So that's what I got for the 2 slips. If you guys want to lock them in any way you want, you can. It's just make your own slips kind of thing, or tell the ones that I posted. Trust your gut. Lock in what you like, fade what you don't. But anyways, make sure you guys join our Discord if you're not in there already. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.